This match is scheduled for one fall and is for the podcast championship of the world. Introducing first, your champions had a combined knowledge of over 9,000, spanning over sports, gaming, anime, and more. John Campise, John DiMartino, and John Dailey. Triple J!
Hello and welcome back to the Triple J podcast. My name is John DiMartino. To my left,
John Dailey.
And today, sitting to my right,
John Campise.
And welcome back, guys. How's everyone?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm fantastic.
I'm not digging this rain.
I'm not either.
That much.
You can't really dig rain.
Ha.
Unless it's like in a hole.
You can fool in the rain.
You can what?
You can fool in the rain.
That's fair.
I really hope someone gets that reference.
That's fair.
One person will get that reference.
Probably.
So,
when they listen to it, and it's going to be you listening to it back.
So we're already starting off to a grand start, Campise, when Dailey has to make a freaking joke out of me saying I don't like the rain. Because he has to be like, oh, puns.
Listen, as long as it's better than leaving your cake out in the rain.
Why would you have cake outside unless it's sunny?
Listen, someone left the cake out in the rain. Yeah. I don't know if I can take it. It took so long to bake it. And they'll never have that recipe again.
How long did it take you to bake a cake? Cake does not take that long to bake.
That is a song.
I know. That's part of... See, I'm the type of person, right, that like when you listen to a song, you like answer like the questions or like you ask questions back.
But here's the thing. It's an old song, so not that many people may know it.
That's fair.
So it's maybe not clarification for you, but it's for other people. Did you know that, Campise?
I did.
There you go.
We're off to a rousing start today,
yes, we
boys.
are.
Speaking of rousing starts.
Yeah? I don't know. Speaking of
the news,
there's several newses.
Where do we start?
Jinx, you want me to soda?
Oof. Critical oof.
You want to talk a little sports? You want to talk some video games?
Let's talk about some sports.
Some sports. All right. So now, because we are recording ahead,
yes,
we won't know if this is made official by the time this episode airs. Today is what's today's date? The 13th.
Yes.
So apparently, the other day, according to MLB on Fox on Twitter, the MLB is reportedly looking to change how the postseason format works. So just to give you guys an idea of how it works right now, there is 2 wild cards that play in a one-off game, and then that person goes into the NLDS or ALDS, depending on which division you are.
The DS.
The DS, yes, the divisional series. Then you play one team from the divisional series. You play a series. You go on to the championship series, then the winner of that goes into the World Series.
All right, I have a question already.
Yes.
I thought DS stood for dual screen.
Campise.
Yes?
As this podcast goes on more and more, I just want to bury Dailey further and further into the dirt.
Me too.
Okay. As long as it's not just me. So that's what it currently is. So apparently they want to change the format to now go to 7 teams per league. They want to take away the wild card game. They want to make the first round a 2 of 3. The top seed in each league is going to get a bye, and then the team with the best record gets to pick their opponents. Well, all the teams with the best record, we get to pick their opponents. So I, for one, am not a fan of this.
It's weird.
I'm a fan of all of it until the last bit.
Which bit? The teams picking part?
Yeah. That shouldn't be. The teams picking part should not be there.
That number one stands out to me because I don't like that because, granted, baseball, on any given day, any team can beat any other team.
So, because here's the thing. You could be the top seed team.
Right.
And like you just said, any day a good team could beat a bad team or a bad team could beat a good team. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's say the Phillies make it in and the Mets made it in.
Yeah.
The Mets had a bad record, but somehow managed to get in by the skin of their teeth.
Right.
And they choose to go up, and since they have top seed, they chose to go up against the Mets.
Right. Right, that's what I'm saying. You see, because, you can, sure, you could pick, the team that statistically you've done better against in the season, but there's nothing to say that they won't beat you in this playoff game.
I agree, but my point is that, you're going in with betting odds.
Right, which is, I feel like is... Number one, it's the playoffs. You're supposed to earn your spot. So I also don't like the idea of the bye.
I'm okay with the bye.
I don't like it just because it's the playoffs. You have to earn your spots, I feel like. So if you're just going to get a bye, like the only time I want to hear about a bye in sports is when it's an NFL team's bye week. You know
Well, here's the thing. Like, what our friend Joe said,
Yeah.
if you're the best,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to play the first round. If you're number one, you don't need to
I don't
play
know
the
if I
first round.
don't know if I agree with that. Because, again, you can still lose.
Yeah, but here's
So
the thing.
if you're the
it should be more than bragging rights.
Sure, but my thing is that if you believe you are the best team,
Yes.
regardless, you should prove it against every other team. Because theoretically, you could just be like, oh, well, I could beat this team, but how do we know if that other team couldn't have beat you? We're not going to know. You know, it's not like the cheating. I mean, I guess not that it's a parallel to the cheating scandal with the Astros or anything, but it's that same idea of like, well, this what could have been, all because they want to do a stupid buy thing, which I don't think that's necessary. I don't know, Campise,
I think it's weird.
right? I don't know.
It's weird. I want to clarify. I think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's just that I think there should be a reason. You should get a reward for more than just bragging rights.
Well, the reward is you get home field advantage,
Okay.
and
Isn't that a bit unfair?
what, home field advantage? Not really.
Well,
like,
against
like-
the Astros.
Well, yeah. I mean, they cheated.
Well, like in this sense, because they get to choose the teams they want to play, right?
Right, that's what they're proposing. We don't
that's
know.
the one thing I say
they
is a big no.
haven't addressed the whole like, oh, did they still get? I would assume they would still get home field advantage. So like that's just more stacking the deck in
I would take that out.
particular team's favor. Right. We don't know the full extent. This is just rumored. You know, a lot of people
innuendo.
from what I'm seeing on Twitter are not a fan of this.
I think
A
pushing
lot.
it back to November is pushing it.
I don't think that they would push it back.
Oh, that was
back.
just a
Yeah, that was just people talking about.
okay.
Yeah, these are
At this
just people's
point, I wouldn't be
reactions.
surprised if they did it if they're
Yeah.
gonna go with all these other rules.
Yeah, a lot of people just like because like I'm looking, especially right now on Twitter, a lot of people are not a fan of this. Some people are talking about Monday Night Raw for some reason. I'm getting like edge gifts and stuff. But yeah, no, the general consensus is this is not a good idea. A lot of people don't like this. They don't like the current commissioner, Rob. What's his name? Rob Manfred, I believe.
Manfred.
I believe that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, I'm personally not a big fan of this change. I think they should just leave it. I think if anything, they should just get rid of the 2 wild cards playing in a one-off and just keep it a 1 wild card team.
I understand why they want 1 wild card for each division. Like, I get that.
Right.
But if we're getting rid of the wild card
Yeah.
so that there's another team, 2 more teams in both one in each new division,
Yeah.
then it's fine, because that's what the wild card is. You're just saying, okay, you 4 teams that are competing for the wild card spot.
Yeah.
You're not competing anymore. The top of those 3 are it anyway.
I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I think it makes it more dramatic when there's only when you're fighting for that one last spot. You know.
Well,
what I
here's
mean?
the thing,
As
like-
opposed to being like, oh, well, you know what? We don't have to worry about getting the first wild card spot. As long as we can get that second one, we still have a chance. It makes it makes it more exciting
ready?
and dramatic.
Now you have to have a third almost division then, in my opinion, because you need to have 4 teams, 2 from each division that
Okay.
represent the wild cards,
Yeah.
and each team goes up against each other for that one spot. So you have the NL, the AL, and then the wild card.
I don't know.
That's why I'm saying, like, if you either get rid of it
Right.
or leave it the way it is. I say get rid of it just
Sure.
because.
I mean, if it's a situation of get rid of it altogether or leave it, I would just leave it because it's not like it's not hurting any team by keeping it in there. I think you're hurting more teams' chances of taking it away.
Yeah. And it's weird that I'm
Yeah.
saying that I'm for getting rid of the wild card spot when that's probably what helps the Mets most
Yeah,
get
right.
in. But
Shit happens.
I just think in general, first and foremost, I think you should get more of an incentive than just bragging rights and you get home field advantage, because home field advantage doesn't really mean much unless
it can.
it's just that you know where to hit and all that
Right.
stuff.
I mean, I think it definitely can still help because you have that going into any game. You have that roar of your guys. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So you have that layer of familiarity. I mean, most of the time, anyways, it's almost for the other team, a lot of times they've already played that team a bunch anyways. So to them, it's not too much different, I think. But we'll see where it goes. I'll be interested to see how things go. What else sports-wise we got going on, guys?
I got
Dailey?
nothing.
This is the XFL.
Oh, yes, week 1. It was a good set of games
New York might have a good sports team
for once.
for one. Consistently.
Yeah,
It's only been 1 week.
it has
But
only been one.
I'm seeing some reviews saying like they have a lot of room for improvement overall.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a new league, number one. So basically,
I was
Dailey-
talking about the XFL in general.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Dailey, you want to break down what the XFL is for people?
The XFL is
Say it properly.
the XFL is a new up and coming or reborn. Someone used that.
It's like a half revival, half brand new. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be called the Shadow Machine now. I get it right.
Oof.
So it's someone used that revive on the XFL from what was it, the late 90s or early 2000s?
It was. I think it was like I want to say it was 2000, like on
2000 on the dot.
I could be wrong on that.
20 years to the year,
Pretty much.
almost to the day probably.
Yes.
They brought back the XFL, and this
Who's
one
they? You guys specify.
it was what is it Alpha One Sports or something like that?
Yes. Run by Campise's favorite person.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Junior.
Yes,
Is he junior?
he
Yes,
is junior.
Vince McMahon Senior.
I think
Ran
they just.
the
I think
WWF.
they just call him senior out of respect. Like he's not an
No.
actual junior. I'm gonna look it up. Keep going.
No, they call him Vince McMahon Senior. Anyway, rambling. It is what is it? 7 teams?
8 teams.
8 teams.
There's
The New York Guardians.
which I like their jersey.
I like the
design.
jersey. It's a nice looking jersey. I
It's
might
a
actually
very
pick
nice,
up a jersey.
right? So it's 8 teams, and it's the where are we over here? So it's in the East Division, we have the DC Defenders playing out of Washington DC, the New York Guardians, like Dailey just said, playing out of MetLife Stadium, the St. Louis Battlehawks, the Tampa Bay Vipers. No Randy Orton on that.
No, Randy Orton.
No Randy.
Unfortunately,
Orton. No, fortunately for Randy Orton, because the Vipers ate booty against
so
the Guardians.
Fortunately,
And then in the West Division, we have the Dallas Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, the Los Angeles Wildcats, and the Seattle Dragons. Possible Daniel Bryan reference.
Possible Daniel
And
Bryan
then
reference.
apparently, I didn't know this, they have a 9th team that's just called Team 9. That's a
Team
practice
9.
squad that plays in Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
So that's what we got right now. I enjoyed the first week. I didn't watch all the games. I watched bits and pieces of the
watched
Guardians Vipers game. Caught those wonderful XFL highlights
Wonderful XFL highlights.
from our favorite YouTuber, the Chisel Adonis.
the Chisel Adonis. Go.
What a
Go.
great.
Great. I liked how, what was it, the guy, what was it, on the Battlehawks did the Orton pose? Did Orton's top of the ring pose?
Yes. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, you're not on the Vipers. You can't even do that.
It's copyrighted. No, I mean, look, it's like Dailey said, it is an early league, so naturally, like you were saying, Campise, there's going to be some rooms for improvement. I like some of the changes that they made from the NFL rules.
real quick, my
Yes.
friend shared a thing where it was like something about NFL players who are not doing good should just be dropped to the XFL, and I'm like, the XFL is not a developmental league for the NFL.
Right. I think that's what some people are getting confused. They're probably thinking, because I could see that becoming a thing where like guys that don't do well in the NFL end up going into the XFL because like the XFL is like teetering on like college, like college and like pro, like
Yep.
kind of like a weird mix almost.
Yeah.
So I could see some NFL players that don't end up doing well or don't meet expectations end up going into XFL because there's definitely, I mean, they're gonna eventually expand even further
Yeah.
beyond.
They're probably going to
Yes.
get another 2 or 4 teams.
I would probably think they would go probably another 4 for right now,
I would say like 2 a year maybe.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how the I don't think they described how the playoffs are going to work because it's 10 weeks. I don't know if there's a bye week. I forget. And then I don't know if they've covered how the playoffs work or anything like that.
So,
But I'm intrigued. I like what I'm seeing so far. I like that they changed the
Kickoff?
The kickoff. And
it's a little strict.
It's a little strict, but that's okay.
What's the
That's
kickoff
fine.
like?
So normally you just kick the ball as hard as you can.
And if you make it past a point, you make it past a point. If you don't, you don't.
Oh no, we're talking about in the NFL. You just kick a
that's
ball.
That's what I'm saying. In the NFL, it doesn't matter.
Right. In the XFL, you kick it, and if it doesn't make it to the
Make it past the 30 or the 35.
No, I think it's the 20.
Is it 20?
The 20 or the 30, something like that. If it makes it, then you can make the run.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, that team gets the kicking team gets penalized, and the receiving team starts on
The opponent's.
The opponent's 45.
So the kicking team is 45.
Yes.
So like, if it was the 50, I'd say it's fine. You've won the right to start halfway down the field.
Okay.
45 is a little. It's teetering on that. Okay, like you're like 5 yards short.
Right. I think it's just a good. It's an interesting way to punish a team for trying to get cheeky. Because sometimes in the NFL, teams will try to get cheeky with
100%.
their kicks. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely going to take away some of that cheekiness. Definitely, I like how the after scoring a touchdown, the point after works, because now it's no longer. So normally in the NFL, you score a touchdown, it's still 6 points like in the NFL. But then when in the NFL, you have two choices. You can either go for 1 point, so you just kick it in between the goalpost, or you can go for a 2-point conversion, throw it in, and try to get 2 points to make it either 7 or 8. In the XFL, it's just you have a throw, but you have 3 options. You have a 1-point play, a 2-point, and a 3-point, which I think is interesting.
It's 5 yards difference. 5 yards at the one.
Yeah, I think it's 5, 10, 15,
Yes.
I believe.
And then 1, 2, 3 from there.
Yeah. Respective. So I think it's an interesting way of keeping the games at a faster pace a little bit, and then also
That's
just
fair.
I feel like it's gonna, for some tight games, it's gonna be one of those like make or break type deals, especially if you go for like that 3-point play.
Yeah.
You know, especially if if you're trailing and you need 3, you know, an extra 3 points can definitely help get it quicker than trying to get the other team to go on a 3 and out and then try to score again.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Then, speaking of, because I think we've all established, you know, it's a good start for the XFL, brother.
Gotta do that Vince McMahon walk every time you say it.
Speaking of,
Is the XFL.
Yes, Dailey.
Speaking of Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr.,
Yes.
rumors for this year's WWE Hall of Fame are the Bella Twins and Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah, he just retired this year, dude.
He
That's
just
crazy.
retired last month.
So many people are not happy about the Bella Twins getting in.
Yes. So here's my thing.
I'm torn.
I'm not. First of all, I hope they get in just to piss off a bunch of people, because they're going to get
Fair
in.
enough.
People are already pissed about it because they're like, oh, that makes the Hall of Fame less credible. Blah, 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 blah. They're only in because of who they were dating at the time.
Okay.
And it's like, people forget, right? Okay, Brie Bella, we'll start with her. Okay. She had, I want to say, at least 2 to 3 Diva title reigns before she even started dating Daniel Bryan. And even when she was dating Daniel Bryan wasn't exactly at the top of the totem pole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, he had one good heel world title reign back in the day when it was still the Divas title, but they were barely a thing. You know what I mean? At the time. And then Nikki, like, okay, she wasn't the best starting out. She improved a lot. Like, people want to just be like, oh, she's just getting it because she dated Cena. Number one, she's not dating Cena anymore.
Nope.
She did no. She's having a kid with another person. First of all,
Yeah.
number one.
Getting married.
Yes. Number 2, she improved a lot, especially in that transition between the quote-unquote Divas era going into the women's division that's known as now. You know what I mean? So, plus, like, the two of them, as much as people don't like them, they really, I think, helped to be faces of the division and definitely put a lot of eyes on it, especially in like outside media. You know what I mean? Like when
100%.
When it comes to like interviews on like talk shows or red carpets or whatever. So I think in that aspect they definitely deserve it. You know what I mean? Were they like the best ever? No, but I mean they both worked for, I think.
Yeah.
Dailey.
Yeah.
I would. Liger's a little weird.
Well, okay, we'll talk about Liger in a second. Let's just stick with the
Bellas. I'm
right
fine
now.
with. I'm not. It's a little. I think if you look at the people going in and are in it,
Yes.
they're a little young.
Sure.
That's my only thing.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like it's too soon for them.
Sure. I think it's the same thing. Like we talked about this, I think, a couple years ago when Beth was going in.
Yeah.
Because I think we're getting to that point now where the Hall of Famers going in are going to be a little bit younger, and it's going to be like they only like just more recently, like within let's say like the last like 10 years,
Yeah.
or wrestling. Because if you really look at it, like
Batista's like the main headliner for the Hall
Yes.
of Fame this year.
right. So like number one, when you look, speaking strictly on the women's division in wrestling for WWE, anyways, right? You have your big names like Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. And then you skip ahead a lot of years to like Alundra Blaze, and Miss Elizabeth never really wrestled, but you know she was pretty notable.
Known for managing Macho Man.
Right, exactly. Then you go ahead a couple more years and you get into like Trish and Lita and Molly Holly are probably going eventually. Hopefully Victoria will go in. Trish and Lita are in there.
Mickey James is bound for it.
Yeah, she'll go in, I'm sure, when she's done wrestling, you know. But like we're getting to that point where it's like, okay, you're running out of women.
Exactly.
You know, so you got
I
to
get
kind of
that.
start using more of like the not current, but like I said, like in the last like 10 years of
That's fair.
retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Campise, what are your thoughts on them going in?
Like I said, like you make a lot of good points as to why they should be in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Again, I do think it's too soon.
Okay.
Because it's not like they've been retired for long. Did they ever
They've
announce them?
Last year.
Yeah.
When what's her name, Nikki versed Ronda at Evolution, I think was considered her like retirement.
It was
match.
quiet, and then they
Yeah.
confirmed it last year,
Yes.
like middle
Yeah.
of last year.
Oh no. Okay. So then Evolution was 2 years ago. Then.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's too soon. Like
Sure.
I just think it's weird.
Right.
Maybe in like 2 years it would have been better. Like if
Yeah.
you had like 4 or 5 years since that Evolution
Right.
match, but it's been like
Okay.
2 years.
But it does.
Sure.
You do bring up a good point. Like you're running the WWE
Yeah.
is running out of women to
Yeah.
induct.
And I don't even know like outside of like we said like Molly Holly, Victoria, and Mickey James. Like I don't know who else. Like
I think-
earlier that you could induct.
I could see AJ Lee because she was a part of that
Sure.
Divas Revolution also,
Sure.
or Women's Revolution, really.
Yeah. I could see AJ going in eventually. Potentially. I don't know how their relationship.
There's a lot of water that needs to pass under the bridge.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be a big fix. But like I'm like outside of that, the only other one like Natalia, but she's still wrestling.
Yeah.
So I don't, you know, she's really the only one outside of Mickey. She's the only one that like is consistently still wrestling from like that in between era. I guess Melina they could induct. Maybe. I don't know.
Melina, I could see.
Yeah, you know. And then the other name is Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yes, who's only ever wrestled one official match
Yes.
in the WWE.
However,
He did have a good. He did have a good run.
He's
in
a wrestling.
WCW.
He is a wrestling veteran though.
oh
He
yeah,
is.
big time. I mean, he's been wrestling for like years.
Yeah.
Like I want to say his wrestling career, I'm positive eclipses Undertaker's by at least 10 years. I want to say.
Yeah, because he started in this. No, I think they started around the same time.
Yeah, that's why I give WWE respect for the Hall of Fame. I feel like a lot of people that have been inducted. Well, maybe not a lot, but there's a certain amount of wrestlers who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, but never actually worked for WWE. They just
Sure.
induct them for their
Yeah,
recognitions.
like you said, the recognition number one, and just the fact that like Jushin Liger especially is like one of those guys that like a lot of people credit or would credit as like an inspiration.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense to put him in the Hall. I mean, if you're gonna put if people are okay with Sting going in, and Sting only worked like
2 matches.
2 matches in WWE, I think they can live with Jushin Liger.
Mil Mascaras has never once stepped foot in a WWE ring.
That's fair. Like,
That's
but
true.
also there's the inherited WCW stuff as well,
Sure.
which is like what like kind of bites my point in the butt.
Right.
So like that's Mil Mascaris has worked with WCW a lot.
Right.
So like that kind of, like I said, nips why he was inducted in the butt. It's just like Liger had one official match and it was like a B match with Breeze.
Sure.
Tyler
I don't
Breeze.
remember that match too much, but I remember it happening because it was like this crazy thing because he was still technically under contract with New Japan.
What I was the captivating life of Jushin Thunder Liger that I watched. It's a
real
great
quick,
video.
just to cut you off.
How dare you?
Undertaker actually debuted 3 years after Liger, so I was way off.
Same time. Right?
Yeah.
Same time.
Taker debuted in June of 1987, and Liger debuted in March of 1984.
The character or the person?
The person.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
The guy that just retired this
He
year.
was WWF lightweight heavyweight champion.
Yes. Yeah, he was
Liger?
in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was an unofficial. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in WWF for a split.
It was a crossover.
11-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something.
I'm pretty sure he's done a crap ton Liger. Like I'm like just looking at his Wikipedia page, you just scroll for years.
Yeah, that's what I'm on right now.
Yeah, you just go and you go and you go.
Yeah, I can see all these as reasons why he deserves a spot in the
Yeah,
Hall of
I mean,
Fame.
look, yes, he only like wrestled like a hair amount of time in WWE, right?
Yes.
At the same time, as far as like big Hall of Fames that people for wrestling would know outside of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, the WWE one's the next biggest one.
Yeah.
So, I don't see an issue with Liger going in. You
Neither
know
do
what
I.
mean, who knows? He might come out of retirement for like a one-off match with like Rey Mysterio or something.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy, because how old is he? He's 55.
Yeah.
So, Ray's a little younger, but Liger's done a lot. I would have loved to have watched him like in his prime.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been sick.
Sick.
I mean, his retirement match alone was great.
Yeah.
Lots of emotion.
Lots of emotions.
I would say
his match with John Morrison was fantastic.
yes. I would say that if Edge didn't return at this year's Rumble, that probably would have been the most emotional thing of the year, wrestling wise.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
agree with that, Campise?
I would. Excuse me. I would 100% agree with that.
Right? Yeah. So, I think that's the only other newsworthy thing is Pokemon Home's out.
Yeah.
So there's Pokemon Home is basically the Nintendo Switch's
Bank system for you to transfer your Pokemon.
Bank version. Which number one, I feel like they could have just made Pokemon Bank available on the Switch.
They probably wanted to upgrade the servers and stuff
Sure.
like that.
I mean, there is a massive overhaul when you look at it aesthetically. You know,
And there's so much more in it to look at.
So like for me, because like I right now I only have the free version. There's a free version which is extremely limited to the point where it doesn't even make sense to have a free version. And then there's the premium version, which we'll get into the pricing, which I'm not a big fan of.
It's whatever.
But it definitely is a lot cleaner looking.
Yes.
I haven't had too much time to fool around with it because, again, there's not a whole lot to fool around with in the free version. But the interesting thing is that you have both a console app and then you also have a mobile app.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find it.
Yeah, if you can find it, which is one of the issues. I don't understand Pokemon Man when they put out stuff. They make it so hard to find things.
Well, that's not exactly their fault for the Android stuff, like the mobile phone stuff.
Right, but it's both Android and iOS that are having these.
Well, I'm
issues.
saying in general, it's mobile. Like I wouldn't blame Pokemon for that. I would just say like, when has like the Pokemon Company ever released their own stuff, like not through another company?
That's fair. On mobile,
Masters is through another company.
no, I know.
and
Masters
then
goes through another company. I think that. Oh my god, what is that? Picto thing?
Maybe.
I think that's through them. Oh no, Magikarp Jump I think was through them too. I don't know. I could be wrong.
It's fair.
I don't know. There's not a lot of good. There's more not good, in my opinion at least, Pokemon mobile games than there are good Pokemon mobile games. Being that there's only 2 good ones, and one of them's like so-so, and the
That's
other one's
fair.
Go.
Yeah.
But so basically, like we were saying, so if you don't know what Pokemon Home and Pokemon Bank basically do, is it's just an online storage system for you to hold all your old Pokemon from the older games, and you can use it to port them into the new ones. So the newest ones right now is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. And Pokemon, so it's weird because you can't have, it's not like older games where you can have all your Pokemon in one game. There's only, what is it, 400 in total daily of Pokemon that you can have right now before DLC drops?
Yes. It's only any of the regional variants.
Right. And then,
The Kanto starters,
yes.
the Alola starters, Alola legendaries.
Well, I'm talking
and
about in the normal decks.
the normal decks are like 400 or something.
Yeah, it's at like 400. So it's only those Pokemon plus like an extra 35, like some of the ones that Dailey was just listing off, that you can have in Sword and Shield. But for Pokemon Bank, you can have basically all your Pokemon in there. Ooh, look at Dailey downloading it right now.
So if you are listening, to our podcast right now, and you're one of the many people who go, I can't find it on my phone store, just go to the Pokemon Home website and just hit your phone's app store of choice, and you'll download it from there.
Oh, okay. That's helpful.
It'll like instantly open it in the store.
Yes. So one of the things I like that's an upgrade over Bank, is you can tell right away which Pokemon is shiny.
That's nice.
So that's pretty helpful if you have a lot of shiny Pokemon.
Yes.
So like if you go, for example, like I was messing around and I was fooling around with my Pokemon Let's Go,
Yes.
Pikachu, and in there I have a shiny Pidgey and a shiny Eevee, and you could just tell right away that they were which one. You didn't have to like hover over like you did in Bank to find out whether or not it was your shiny or not.
Yeah.
It just shows it because they do like they aren't 3D models necessarily, but they're I don't know how to describe it.
Like 2.5D.
Yeah, kinda. And then the cool thing is that they're all stylized in their official artwork.
Oh,
which
that's
is
cool.
Mm-hmm. So like a lot of like the original 151 are drawn in their Ken Sugimori
That's cool.
pose, which he was like the original artist.
Yes.
For Pokemon, which is pretty cool. So another thing that I like is that you don't have to have the game installed while you're Dailey. How dare you?
I didn't know my sound was on. My apologies,
Unacceptable, unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. This man, Campise, I can't believe he would interrupt our show. First of all, he's being helpful by actually downloading Pokemon Home and telling people how to do it. But then he goes and be disrespectful by having his volume on.
I thought my audio was off. My apologies, everyone.
I'm not even saying anything. I'm just staring at him in judgment.
Yeah, you're lucky you. Where was I?
Ken Sugimori.
Oh, yes. Okay, so right. So they have him drawn and the Pokemon are posed in that way. Right. So I was messing around with Pokemon Let's Go. So you don't have to have the game not installed, but you don't have to have the cartridge in your Switch in order to access the games, unlike Bank where you had to plug in whichever game you want to move stuff around, which I like because I don't have to keep running over to my Switch or running over to my stand where all my video games are and be like, okay, which game am I using? Oh, okay, I just got to click on this and then bring it over. The only thing I did was just I filled up the Kanto decks as much as I could. Well, for all of them except for Mew because I don't have Mew in Let's Go. Because I dropped $50 DLC to get a Pokemon inside of a Pokeball controller. As cool as the controller is.
Yes.
$50 for Mew. Not cool, baby. Not cool. Melton and Melmetal, ironically, so they were 2 Pokemon that were added into Pokemon, that were introduced in Pokemon Go. And for the longest time, there was debate over which generation of Pokemon they belong to. Mm-hmm. People were saying, oh, well, we're still in the 7th generation, so it's a 7th generation Pokemon.
Don't worry, Game Freak doesn't know either.
Right. Because other people were like, no, it's a Gen 8 Pokemon because they're brand new Pokemon. And then Game Freak was just like, we don't know which generation they belong to either, so they're just going to go in the etc. category. Because it's like when you look at your Pokedexes, it's like Kanto region, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, Alola, Galar, etc. And I'm like, that. Although having Meltan, Melmetal, and Sword and Shield is pretty fun.
Still no G-Max Melmetal, though.
No, not yet. But that's going to be a separate release.
Probably.
I do like that you can see all the forms, all like your different forms. So like there's a 63 Alcremie Conundrum, and those you can all look individually, each individual one.
Don't you feel great about yourself?
No, I don't. I hate myself, Campise, on several. As I've said multiple times on this show.
It's okay, I do too.
What else? The different fruit. I always mispronounce his name. The dog from Gen 6, Frau. Yeah, the one with with the 10 different hairstyles.
Yeah.
The Miniors. Those
your favorite.
Wonderful Miniors.
Your favorite.
Oh yeah. So there's some cool things. There's some glitches going on right now with the mobile version specifically. Different things aren't popping up. Some things aren't registering. Oh no. You know.
Oh no.
Which I'm sure with some patches they'll get those fixed. There is for the physical Pokemon Sword and Shield right now. Hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be patched. But don't trade on the Wycom daily.
Why?
People are trading Pokemon that shouldn't be able to Gigantamax, that have like the Gigantamax logo. So for example, Poplio just has, when you go into the summary, has the little Gigantamax X, and that's not supposed to happen.
It's a Gigantamax Poplio.
Right. Like you can Dynamax whatever you want, but it shouldn't have the Gigantamax trait. And what's happening is when you get that Pokemon, it crashes your game.
Oh no.
And then you can't access your online.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. It doesn't delete your save or anything, apparently. It just screws up your online. Just don't use the Wycom until you know that there's that patch out. So hopefully by the time this airs, you can just Google to see if the patch came out, or you just already know that the patch came out if you follow that closely. Now, this price point.
Not a problem. I don't know what's wrong with you.
$16?
A year?
I understand it's a year. Okay. First of all, I don't think it should cost. I don't have an issue with it being a year. I have an issue with the amount, simply because I don't feel it's enough, or there's not enough in home to justify the price. Number one. Number two, a lot of those things that are in home already come in the base $60 game that I paid.
That's fair. But you know what?
I don't know.
We don't know. They're not just saying, oh, charge this amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, there's plans.
There's plans, but I'm also saying, like, the pricing is based on us making our money back.
Sure.
And then based on how much did we spend making this.
Sure.
So that's what they averaged out to say, this is how much we will make back what we spent to make it.
Sure.
Plus.
Sure. Number one, I'll say, like, unlike what a lot of people are saying, I don't think it should be free. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
They work to make it. You should charge. You know, you work. Any of us.
They're trying to make a living, you know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know,
they got kids.
They got kids. Heath Slater.
Heath Slater makes Pokemon games unconfirmed now.
That would be.
I mean, they're not using him well, so he's got to make money somehow.
Ow. Damn. R.I.P. Heath Slater.
Oh, I hope he comes back. I hope he's there celebrating with. What's his face?
I don't know. There's a lot of faces.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Hawkins and Ryder?
No.
Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it should be cheaper. I don't know what the price should be. Somewhere in the $10 to $12 range, maybe. I feel. But
if it was, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much if it was like $20. Because, like, $16 is like, okay, whatever. $16 for a year.
I don't know. I think it could be lower than that.
Yeah.
And
Campise doesn't even play Pokemon that much.
Yeah. He
actually opened
the package.
Let's go out of the package, guys.
Still haven't played it.
Hey, man, progress.
Progress.
I'm playing Outer Worlds right now.
It's fair.
It's fair. I'll progress you, Dailey. So
Progress.
now let's move into. So that's going to do it for our news. It was a little bit longer than normal.
Because we remembered things as we were going.
But we're going to get a little bit into our major topic of the day, which is we're going to be reviewing
Birds of Prey.
and the Emancipation of One
Incorrect.
Harley Quinn. Which
Harley
is
Quinn
no
and the
longer
Birds of Prey.
Right.
Keep in mind, if you haven't seen the movie yet, do not watch this episode because it will contain spoilers.
Lots of spoilers.
If you're on YouTube, hit that watch later at this point.
Yeah, come back.
Come back after
Come
you've
back
seen
in
the
like
movie.
an hour 50 because it's an hour 40 and you got like probably 10 minutes to go to your local theater and back.
Or
you
just
know?
plug in your headphones and watch it and listen to it on the way back.
Maybe. However you choose to listen
You
to
definitely
your
should do
podcasts.
it.
We are not held responsible
Yeah.
for any incidents involving you listening to our podcast while in motion.
You have been warned.
That's fair.
We're removing ourselves from liability.
By opening this video and listening to our voices, you sign that. You sign the document.
You signed that waiver.
So let's start with this. Campise,
Okay.
number out of 10.
Number out of 10?
Oh, we're gonna go right off to the rating. Okay.
Yes, we are. Because that's how it should be.
Okay. I wasn't
right.
ready for this.
So,
Yes, rate me.
I have two answers to this.
Ooh.
As a Harley Quinn movie,
Okay.
I give it like an 8, 9 out of 10.
That's
As
fair.
a Birds of Prey movie, I give it a 5.
Oof.
Now, is there going to be like an average score between that or no?
No, that's just.
That's just how you're going to
That's
rate
how
it?
you're sitting.
Okay. It's fair.
Should I explain or are we going to go through?
We'll go through that after the fact.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, now, I understand how you're rating it, Campise. However, I'm looking at it as one movie.
Yes.
As one movie, I give it a 5, maybe a 6.
I give it a 7.5
Okay.
because you watch it and you have fun. It's fun.
You had fun.
Your brother had fun.
Good for him.
Julian had fun.
I'm glad
Julian.
Julie, I'm glad. Look, I'm glad that everybody had fun. I'm glad. I'm not.
You were the
I would
only one that
never.
didn't have fun.
You're right. I would. First of all, I would never take away anybody being like, "Oh, I have fun." If I didn't like it, cool. If you liked it, awesome, man. That's great. Mm-hmm. Campise gave the Harley Quinn portion of it an 8.
Yeah.
Well, he
gave
said the
the
entire movie as a Harley Quinn movie an 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Birds of Prey as a movie, he gave it what'd you give it, a 5?
I give it like
Well,
a 5.
it's no
or
longer
6.
Like a
it's
5.
no longer Birds
Well,
of Prey movie.
according to like the producers, it's still called Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn. There's just
Right.
it's just movie review sites that are just renaming it.
No. They,
Oh, it's
they
officially
actually,
named?
yeah,
It's
they
officially
actually
renamed it,
renamed
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Their reasoning,
but okay.
Yeah, their reasoning is because they wanted to optimize the searches for movie tickets,
Yeah.
which, on the one hand,
Because
I can understand it. However, regardless of how it's named, the two names, Birds of Prey, the phrase rather, Birds of Prey, and then the name Harley Quinn still exists in the title.
Yeah.
So I don't think the search engine is going to change any.
well, here's the thing.
Speaking as somebody that kind of understands search engine optimization,
Well, I'll put it this way.
put it that way for me.
The trailers never said Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Right.
They said Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Sure. I think.
I feel like
did.
it was marketed too much to be like a Birds of Prey movie.
They
I
marked. they
don't
didn't-
think they knew how to market it because it's in the way like how you rate it as two different movies almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of I think what their issue was.
Yeah.
It didn't. I disagree. It didn't feel like it was two separate movies put
No,
together.
no, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
see, I'm not- I
We're
wasn't,
not saying
like-
that it's two
Well-
separate movies.
Well, like
We're
they
saying
didn't
that
know what
it's
it is.
It's your perspective on it because
Right.
the
Yeah.
title is misleading in my
Yes,
opinion.
the title, the initial title was misleading.
Yes.
Because I said coming out of it, that was my one thing that I was like, this movie should not have been called Birds of Prey and Harley
agree.
Quinn. It should have been Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey.
yes.
And that's why. And I'm like, that's why in the trailers, that's why they were saying Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Because halfway through, they were like, oh, we should probably be switching the names around.
Right.
Because Harley Quinn is the main character.
Yes.
And we're using her as the vehicle to introduce the Birds of Prey.
Yes. Sure. I agree. I mean, look. If you had a good time with the movie, awesome.
Yeah.
You didn't like it, cool. I don't care how you view it. I didn't enjoy it that much. I'll put it to you this way, Dailey. When we're in the climax fight, okay,
Yes.
I'm like half paying attention, half looking at the Pac-Man group chat that we were in with the boy Keith and some other friends talking about betting odds on other things that don't pertain to this movie. And that was more interesting than what was happening with that final fight. As like
The
decent
final
as that
the
fight
final
was.
fight was enjoyable.
It was,
It was a
alright.
lot of fun.
It was
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was fun because it was in a fun house.
yeah. Ewan McGregor as Black Mass.
Oh, he
I
was
liked
great.
that
It was
a lot better
fantastic.
than
It
I
was
thought.
great.
It was fantastic. It was
I'm
the ending.
upset that they killed him.
It was the ending.
Well, I was talking to this with my friend because apparently the Flash movie's Flashpoint, it's possible that could change.
Well, no, they confirmed that it's not Flashpoint.
Oh, it's not?
It's not Flashpoint.
Okay.
It stopped being Flashpoint.
conversation.
I think we thought. I don't
I
remember.
feel like every time we talk about DC movies in general, everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, the Flash movie's Flashpoint," and then Dailey's always just like, "It's not Flashpoint. Stop calling it Flashpoint. Stop."
Well, no, because they came
I
out and
know.
said that it's not Flashpoint
I know.
anymore.
It's just funny because everybody keeps calling it the Flashpoint movie.
Because that's what it was when they
I know.
initially came up with it. And
It's
then when
just-
they were
it's
like,
just funny
oh,
to me.
our movies are doing good. We don't need to reboot anything anymore.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just funny to me. Well, this
Anyway,
movie's not doing good.
Nah. And anyway,
Financially.
I think killing off Black Mask was such a Marvel move.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
And they killed off such a really prominent villain
Solid
in the comics.
Yes.
And they could have kept him going for the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, which is kind of a waste of Ewan McGregor also.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor was.
He was great.
Yeah.
really
I
good.
Who
give
is sorry to cut you off, Campise.
okay.
Who is like the primary antagonist for the Birds of Prey in comics?
I feel like it's I don't think there's one. I don't think there's no one main villain.
Okay.
It's just whoever is a
Right,
villain
because
in
like
DC.
I was reading up a little bit on the history because Birds of Prey is not that well known of a group, which I think is another issue for this.
New
movie.
52 kind of like pushed it to be a big
Yes.
group.
Yeah,
It was always a thing. It was just
Right.
New 52 really wanted to say like, hey, this is our our
new team.
This is a
Right.
new
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
I
they
feel like Enchantress is kind of like a half Dark Justice League, half Birds of Prey enemy because she's
have no
fought with
idea.
the Birds of Prey before.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Like I said, I did some light reading. I know they started in Gotham, then they went to Metropolis, and then they were like, "Cool, now we're going to Cali."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about. And then like I was just reading some of the roster members and stuff. I didn't. Okay, so I'll start with what I liked.
Okay.
I liked Canary.
Canary was great.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like with Canary was the scream that they waited until the very end.
She was like useless.
They could have used it a couple of times, like in little bursts. The big one at the end, that's fine. If there was some like smaller ones early on in the movie, other than that the glass breaking when she was singing.
You and I spoke about this after we saw the movie.
Yes.
If they got rid of that glass breaking scene in the bar,
Yeah.
I think that would have gone. It would have been much smoother for you and me, who knows she has that power to begin with.
Yes.
We're like, okay, we knew that beforehand.
They cut that scene out.
No, I'm saying like
No,
if
he's
they
saying if they did.
if
Okay.
they cut that scene out and the viewer doesn't know
Right.
that she can do that,
Yeah.
and then you have the build up to it,
Yeah.
and then that explains why she's like gotta like work
Yes.
herself up into it,
Okay. Here's my
because then you
counter to
have
that, though.
ready,
Yeah.
you have, because of the fact that the cop says, oh, you're like your mother, you can, you have her power, you're
Yes.
just like her, blah blah blah,
Yes.
and then you see that scene in the bar,
Yes.
that puts two and two together.
Right. Okay. That puts two and two together if you know comics. Okay.
But,
because here's my thing. Guy, I'll let you finish and I'll get to my
No, because I knew someone who doesn't know comics who went in,
Yes.
and I was like, he said I put two and two together,
Okay.
that she had some sort of screaming power.
Okay.
And I was waiting from that moment
Yes.
on for her to do like
Okay.
a full scream.
Sure.
And then I said to him, if they took out the scream in the beginning,
Yeah.
the hint,
Yes.
and it was just the cop saying you're just like your mother, you could help,
Right.
blah blah blah.
Yes.
And then he said, because he's a film guy,
Right.
he said, if they got rid of that, and he said, you're right, if they got rid of that, the build to it and her
Yes.
trying to like psych herself up
Yes.
makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand from that aspect. However, my thing is when you take the scene of her singing
'Cause she's
and
not
then,
a hero
and then the
yet
glass
either.
breaks, right? Generally speaking, in most mediums, right?
Yes.
That just to me, or to not to me, but to like somebody that doesn't really know comic books.
Yes.
We'll use Mark as an example
Mark.
because he doesn't really like he knows some things, but he's not like as ingrained as I say we would be. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He might just see that as just like, oh, she can just really hit the high note. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then she breaks the glass. And then talking about like you're just like your mom and stuff. Like, okay, if you know who the character is going in to the movie, right? And you know Black Canary, then you know
She can do that.
she can do that, right?
But
if
for me-
you take somebody, and again going back to Mark, right? Not to pick on him or anything. Sorry, Mark.
It's the opposite, really.
Right. He might not be able to make that connection. I mean, maybe he could because maybe he's seen Justice League. I don't remember. But somebody who isn't as in depth would just be like, okay, so her mom was just like a vigilante who worked with the cops or something. that part right there wouldn't clue somebody into knowing about the Scream.
Yes.
I feel like.
Well, again,
Personally, I could be wrong. Campise, what do you think on that?
do you agree that if they cut out the Scream in the beginning in the bar?
Oh, you wouldn't know who she was.
Exactly.
You
wouldn't know that she could do the Scream power.
No.
And then the scene where the cop says you're just like your mother would hint, okay, she has some sort of thing. And
That
then
would
you
be
see
it would if they left that scene in but left the bottle the
glass shatter.
glass shatter out, it would be very vague. You would know
Exactly.
she had a power, but you just wouldn't know who she was
And then-
until the end.
Yes. And then the build to it, and then you see herself psych herself up because it's like she's something she's only ever done by accident. And she doesn't have the confidence that her mother. She has to build her confidence. That's why you see her like psyching herself up.
Sure, that's using context clues that she has to build herself
Yes,
up.
but that's my point. Is that like she honestly
Because we don't know necessarily how well her powers are developed or not developed. You know what I mean? In terms of
well. I would say because she's a singer, her powers would be developed because it's her vocal cords.
right. Well, I'm saying like how well she can control her screaming. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, it seems like she could control it well.
Yes.
Right.
But she obviously not strong enough where she can't pass out.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Sure.
my point.
Right. I don't know. I just think like if there was like a hint of like a light version of the Scream,
Well, that was the glass
like
shatter.
I understand. I'm saying like a little bit later on, like if they kind of did like a oh my god, what the hell's her name? Akira from Dino Thunder little
No.
thing,
No.
or like she
No.
just let out just a tiny one.
No, I disagree.
Okay, I don't know. So how do we feel about what they do with Cassandra Cain?
I feel like they should have done a little bit more because she felt like a watered down version of the one that's on Arrow. That was on Arrow.
There was a Cassandra Cain on there.
Oh, not Cassandra Cain. The other Huntress. The second Huntress.
Oh no, I'm talking about Cassandra.
Whatever. Like, her time as Huntress is not well known. So it's like, because I was talking about another friend. It was
Right.
like, you can completely cut out her as Huntress in the grander scheme and just say she becomes orphan.
Right.
So it's fine.
I feel like she just could have just been any old girl. Like
Wait, we're talking about the detective, right?
No, we're talking
Oh,
about
no.
Cassandra.
Okay.
The girl.
The little girl.
Who
swallowed
who swallowed the diamond, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I feel like they could have just made any old girl that it didn't have to be Cassandra Cain,
Well,
in my opinion. At least.
well, you got to look at it how like the next script would go and stuff like that,
I don't know.
and like what plans do they have for the
Just
character moving
because
forward?
I mean, I don't know the full backstory on Cassandra Cain.
She's an orphan who was picked up to be trained
By
as
Batman.
a Batgirl. Then she was almost like a Red Hood situation where she wanted to be a bit more violent
Okay.
because of her backstory as an orphan. And then that's when she joins Huntress
Right.
and becomes Huntress for a bit.
Okay.
And then she becomes orphan.
Okay.
Obviously, they're going to be changing it up more because she left with Harley.
Yes.
Right.
Then that's why I'm
yeah.
saying they're skipping Batgirl and Huntress and going straight for Harley.
Right.
And going straight for Orphan.
Unless how she ends up joining Batman is Batman saves her from Harley.
That's
like what
fine.
he feels is saving her from Harley.
They kind of
Possibly.
confirmed like this universe is now pretty much has no Batman now.
No, that's not true.
No.
Really?
No.
I guess
This
I
is
read
the
that.
same Harley Quinn that was in...
No, I know. I just never mind. I read something wrong.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Huntress was okay. I didn't mind her.
It's
Huntress was.
It's a...
I like
a,
that they
I didn't like
did a
her-
good job with the backstory.
Yeah.
I think they did a good enough job.
Yeah.
It was just that...
I don't like how
Every-
I don't like her short temper problem that she has. It was
Well,
too.
that's
Always-
accurate.
Really?
Yeah. She's, like, if you look at it in Arrow, she was worse.
I liked her better on Arrow.
It's funny because,
Yikes.
but like Arrow would be kind of like, hey, this is how we're doing things. Don't go too crazy, blah blah blah. And she goes, oh okay. 5 minutes into a fight, shoots a guy in the head. And it's like that was the guy we said we were gonna interrogate. And she was like, oh sorry,
She reminded me of Drax for some reason.
that's fine.
Yeah, because they were trying to
little
go
bit.
with
This
like,
movie
the
had, like,
awkward.
This movie had like a Guardians of the Galaxy humor. I
Yeah,
felt.
they were trying to mix Deadpool humor, kind of, sort of, with
'Cause
like
that's Harley.
Guardians.
It's
Stuff.
it's mixing Harley, who's people say is the DC Deadpool, with
Sure.
a team comedy stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, and I think the problem with Birds of Prey, just in general.
They're not an established group. No one really knows about them.
Right, exactly. So like I think that's playing into like why this movie isn't doing as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
because
They never-
people are like, who are these people?
Because I think it's because of the name switch at first. They made it
Right.
seem like the Birds of Prey were going to be bigger than Harley.
Right.
When Harley was clearly bigger than them, which is why
Sure.
the name change reestablishes, hey, this is a Harley Quinn movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're using it as a
Right.
backdoor for the Birds of Prey.
Yes. I don't think, though, it's going to change too much because the other problem is, like, what I've seen online is a lot of people didn't even know this movie was coming out when it came out. People were like, oh, this movie's out.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like,
people say like, "Oh, I didn't see anything," and I'm sitting here like I've been getting consistently online and on TV, Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, whatever,
Yeah.
commercials,
yes.
for like the past month.
I've seen trailers on TV, a couple here and
TV,
there.
I don't think I've seen one
TV
trailer.
spots.
I don't think.
I've seen a couple TV spots here and there.
Like when I'm on YouTube, it was like for like 2 weeks straight, just almost every ad was for Harley Quinn.
I don't know. I just think like a lot of people just maybe they just weren't interested in seeing.
It's the time of year, I think. Also,
Yes, that number one. Number two, I don't think a lot of people are as into a Harley Quinn solo movie as much as DC thought they were going to be.
I think
Because a lot of
I
people
feel like people would like it.
people.
I mean, a lot of people like Margot Robbie as Harley. I think she's okay.
She does. I think she does a very good job.
I think she's
a great Harley.
fantastic, and you could tell she enjoys the role a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, she 100% believes in it. This is like her role.
Yeah,
kind of
she
almost.
was involved in making this movie,
Yes,
right?
she was. She was in
Yeah.
the. She had the creative development.
Yes.
She had creative control.
Yes. That Triple H style.
Triple H style.
I liked also oh my god, what
The
the
cop.
actress's name? Yes, Rosie Perez as
Yeah.
Renee Montoya, which I think it's cool that they brought in this character who, like, unless you really know like
The
your
animated series.
Batman animated series lore, you might not know. Although they did meld her into New 52, and I don't know if she still is, but for a time she was a female question.
Yeah, this was a question for a
Which
bit.
is what she's definitely going to be like if she
Definitely.
decides to return. We pretty much
Right.
saw her as Question in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. Some that'd be interesting to see. I think some of the fights were okay.
I think every fight scene in this was fantastic. You don't like the slow-mo, but
The police fight scene was hilarious.
it was the best thing, and he didn't like it because of all the slow-mo.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this constant need for DC
I
to
went
be like
back-
slow mo.
So since we saw it, I've been
Yes.
taking time and seeing, because I've been working less this week,
Okay,
and
congratulations.
going back and watching every single DC movie and
Okay.
counting every time they had a lot of slow-mo.
Of course he did.
Of course I did, because I need to show that I'm right. So only 3 times was there excessive slow-mo in 8 movies.
Okay, my thing isn't about excessive. My thing is the fact that I feel like there's just an not an over reliance.
Okay, so let me
But like
rephrase that.
DC just has like this thing where it's like, and I understand like
Out of 8
why
movies,
they
or
do
8 or 9 movies,
slow mo.
it's 4 movies had, or 3 or 4 movies had
Okay.
slow-mo.
I don't know. It just seems to me like every time I look at a DC movie, there's slow mo somewhere in it. Where I feel like it's not always needed. I understand the importance of slow motion.
Yes.
In the movie, like we talked about a little bit Saturday night and stuff, but I just feel like it's becoming this thing that doesn't always need to be there.
That's fair. A lot of the CG scenes are just slow-mo because the slow-mo helps them, like, mask,
Right.
like, the fact that it's all CG.
Sure. You know,
Because they can have, instead of having them all moving, like it's an infamous thing in Man of Steel, where you can clearly tell
Right.
full motion fighting from Superman versus Zod is
Yes.
CG.
Right.
While if it's slow mo, you can go in and detail it and make sure it doesn't
Right.
look like it's a PS3
Nah.
cutscene.
Leave the PlayStation 3 out of this, you filthy swine.
It's the best PlayStation I've seen in a long time. It's better than the PS4, honestly.
I disagree.
It was a better. I'm saying, like, as a system, it did more, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
for
that's a
different
whole
time.
other. We're not talking PlayStation. We're talking DC.
So
I don't know. It's just I can't 100% pinpoint with this movie what just wasn't grabbing me, man. Just really wasn't. Like,
and if you looked at me, I was
lot of-
grabbed the entire time.
no, I know you were. A lot of the jokes didn't feel like they were funny to me. They were just more of just like, and you heard me in the middle of the movie. It's just like somebody would say a joke, and I'd just be like, ha, or, ha, got him, or, and that was about it.
No,
me.
there was like 1 or 2 times you like legitimately were like, oh, like that was funny.
I don't remember, but sure.
No, you were because
No, I believe
turned.
you.
I turned and I was like, and you were like, oh, I was like, oh, you're actually laughing.
The egg sandwich thing was kind of funny.
Oh, that was great. The entire thing about the egg sandwich is great.
Feels bad.
At first, I thought it was a little over dramatic, but then I thought about it. I'm like,
It's
It's like
Harley.
Deadpool.
it's a Harley movie.
It's
So,
Harley.
yeah.
Right, it's like Deadpool with the chimichangas. Honestly.
Well, yeah. No, but like for me, I loved. I felt like regardless of how well this movie does, it's a good setup for a like a true Birds of Prey movie, or like some sort of like TV show or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you can have it set up. You know,
I can definitely see the Birds of Prey being used again.
Oh, yeah,
Because here's the
they'll
thing.
come back.
because I said
Birds
that
of
I
Prey
was
will
saying to you
return.
too. I said that to you too. I was like the perfect thing to do is like make a Birds of Prey 2.
Yeah.
And then introduce Oracle. Then you can introduce
Yes.
Oracle, and then you can explain Oracle and Batman if you don't know what you're doing with Batman in the current time.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I think because it's funny because you said Oracle. So I was looking at it, and like eventually she just goes back to being Batgirl, and she's actually
They don't explain it really well
I know.
in
I was gonna-
storyline wise. But
I was gonna say they can skip the whole Oracle part and just have her as Batgirl working with the Birds of Prey.
people would prefer. I prefer Oracle
I
because just
understand. I'm just saying because I looked into when I was looking over, like trying to understand a little bit more about the history of the Birds of Prey. You know, in the more recent years, it
Yes.
seems like they just kind of were like, all right, she's back to being Batgirl. Now we're just gonna lump her in and kind of have her
Yeah.
in the scene. You know what I mean?
so that's why I'm saying forget she goes back to being Batgirl because I personally think she's a more compelling character as Oracle.
Sure.
Like once she's in the wheelchair, she has all that stuff.
Yes.
She's a more compelling character.
Right.
Personally, would you agree, Campise?
Yeah, I would.
So like you could have her show up and have somebody know somebody and be like, oh, I know who we can get to help us.
Right.
Because you can establish that the entire police force of Gotham
Right.
found out at some point that Gordon's daughter was Batgirl, and then she
Right.
stopped because Joker found out who she was.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ways they can go.
And then you can say, oh, well, now she's not a mass crime fighter. She can just
Right.
be kind of like our eyes and ears on the city.
Yep.
She'll be Dailey's favorite character, Felicity.
But better.
Yeah.
Infinitely better, and also not Felicity.
I never really watched Arrow, so I just know Dailey doesn't like her.
It's not that I don't like her. I never liked her with Oliver because it just when you build an entire 3 seasons around a
Yes.
character redeeming themselves,
Yes.
and then the character redeems themselves, and then you don't get the payoff of the character being with
Right.
the person that they should be with,
Yes.
and then the
Oops.
character dies.
Oops. Just a little bit of the oops.
Big oops.
Somebody was like, "Oh, we're gonna start right," and then they're just like, "Oh, oops."
Blame Greg Berlanti
Yeah, definitely great.
because he doesn't know how to write a comic book TV show. I mean, it starts off strong, but then he starts to get dramatic.
Flash. It's
I don't know.
Flash.
I
His
think
shows,
if he
his
didn't know
comic book
how
shows
to-
have dropped, consistently start dropping past the second season. Arrow started to drop past the second season.
I don't know if I can play.
Flash
that.
started to drop. It wasn't as dramatic a drop as Arrow, but it dropped after the second season.
That's a whole other conversation for a whole other
But
day.
yes, that's another conversation. But like you can use Birds of Prey movie to introduce Oracle.
Right.
You can have, and then you can kind of say without really doing the entirety of the Killing Joke, you can have her open the door. Joker standing there, like I said, the Hawaiian shirt,
Right.
the hat, the hair, bang.
I wouldn't be surprised if we haven't seen the last of Jared Leto's Joker.
They used old footage, so like
Yeah.
the person you see in the back of the head, the Joker you see in
Right.
the head, you see in the back is him.
Sure. I mean, at the same time, it's not unlike comic book movies, and Marvel's done this before, where they just change the actor.
Yeah,
So they can also just change the actor because, like you said, they only used the back of Joker's head,
yeah.
so they can just change the actor. You know what I mean?
But like the reason I feel like Jared Leto's polarizing performance was because they didn't really use much of his
Yes.
scenes
Yes.
in
I
Suicide
also,
Squad.
Yes, I also
If
think
you
it
look at
just
the
had
whole-
to do with
the whole
how he
Even
looked.
even David Ayer regretted not using Joker though
Yeah.
in a better way.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Jokers look like that in the comics.
Yeah, and people don't like it.
No, that was actually one of people's favorite runs for Joker was when he was tattooed and stuff like that. It was people preferred it because it was like, oh,
kinda
he looks
hokey
like
to me.
he looks like he should be a mobster.
I don't know. It looked kind of hokey to me.
I didn't even know he looked like that in the comics.
Yeah,
He did. He had a
no-
tattooed, like he had his entire back tattooed. He had his arms tattooed. Like,
I know he had his face sewn on him.
Yes.
Yes, but that was more recently.
Mobsters.
It was the '90s. Like the '90s comic book Joker had like his entire back tattooed. He had his arm. He had sleeves on his arms.
You know why you probably didn't know? Because most of the time when you see the Joker, like in any medium, it's without the tattoos.
It's
like
you're used to the animated Joker look.
right, animated Joker, or
he has
Injustice.
his shirts and his jackets.
The Injustice Joker.
Yeah, Injustice 2 Joker, I feel like they modeled that after Jared Leto's, because I see a little bit of the Jared Leto.
Yeah,
a little bit,
bit.
but then like
A little bit.
it even then like that Joker did not look good. The Joker in Mortal Kombat 11 looks so much better than the Joker in Injustice 2.
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know. I haven't analyzed it
That's
too much.
besides the point. I have because I own it. So
No, really? Dailey has Mortal Kombat.
oh my god. So I think the storyline itself, as a Harley Quinn movie,
Yes.
because it is a Harley Quinn movie
Yes,
officially
yes.
now,
Yes.
is a good vehicle
Yes.
to drive to introduce the people to Birds of Prey,
Right.
and then they set up well enough for there to be a second Harley Quinn movie.
Yes.
Then you can introduce Poison Ivy, because having Birds of Prey and then Harley separate
Yes.
like this, and like you can have two movies going
Yes.
with them.
It's beneficial for both.
Yeah.
Yes, and especially you can set up their Batman's Rogues Gallery
Yes.
without Batman.
Yes.
Without a Batman movie.
Yes.
So you can kind of, and then there's supposedly a Nightwing movie in development.
Oh,
It's been a thing
boy.
for a long time.
I know, but people.
Kylo Ren was rumored to be Nightwing.
I would love to see him.
Him and I think Zac Efron was the other big name
Yeah,
thrown around.
either one would not be bad.
No. I'd be
But,
intrigued either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can use them to set up the Rogues Gallery while you're still in this limbo of, well, are we going to be doing this? You know, all of the Batman movies going to be, you know, him in the past dealing with stuff and learning, or are we going to do, or are we not going to do contemporary stuff? If we do contemporary stuff, are we still going to use Ben Affleck? Are we recasting him? We don't know what we're doing.
Right, because isn't the Batman movie that comes out next year, that's separate from
No, it's
the
not.
DCEU.
As of right now, it's connected.
But
Different
Isn't-
James Gordon, though.
yeah, completely
Exactly,
different
but they've
James
said that it's not. It's connected.
I'm confused.
Gordon. I'm confused too. Welcome to DCEU, everybody.
Well, that's actually not true because you can just recast a character and it can be exactly the same.
Yes, okay, but if this is a prequel, Daily.
Yes.
You mean to tell me 1 minute he's an African American and then the next minute he's
Who's
a
to say the
Caucasian man?
next time you see Gordon in current times he's black?
Then we just wasted our time with Justice League.
That's
what I
not
said.
true.
And Batman v Superman.
That's not
besides
true.
The point.
He wasn't in Justice League.
Okay, so we waste our time with Batman v Superman.
Definitely not true.
My condolences.
Wait, no, Gordon was in Justice League.
Oh,
Yes, he was.
Oh no, it was
He
the other
was
way
not-
around. It was the other way around.
Gordon was in Justice League. He
Yeah.
was not in Batman vs Superman. Yes.
Right, there we go. Okay. You're Alfred was
Yes,
in Justice
Alfred.
League. There you go.
If anything changes, don't change him as Alfred.
That's fair. I can agree with that.
I hope nothing changes, but don't change him.
I mean, Andy Serkis is playing Alfred, right?
No,
in the
new Batman movie?
in the new Batman movie, I
yes,
think so. Yeah,
which is interesting.
which we
I
don't
know how that's
know
gonna work.
what's going to happen.
Andy
He's done.
Serkis.
He's done stuff with not as motion capture before.
I know.
No,
it's just,
not in that aspect.
Cool.
It's like I can't really see him as Alfred. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's fair.
It seems weird. It seems
Yeah,
like a
He's
weird
he's-
choice to me.
Yeah. So, but like, it's weird because people are like, well, is it because there was a rumor going around that like, oh, this movie's no longer going to be like current time period.
Right. I don't know.
It's not going to be connected to the DCEU because like that was the thing going around it. Right around the time Aquaman came out and
Yes.
Shazam came out, I was like, "Oh, we're going to do something that's not necessary.
Right.
That's totally not connected."
We'll find out once that
Like the
trailer
new
comes
gods.
out.
yeah.
Once the trailer hits, then we'll know what's his deal.
As of now, it's speculation. We really don't know much about this movie
it's
yet.
50-50.
But like, you can use it as a vehicle to set up, you know, his rogues gallery while
Yes.
while the
Figure
company
out your
figures
Batman
your Batman
situation.
situation.
Yes.
I feel like once this new movie Ben Affleck's got coming out, where he's the basketball coach and it's all about second chances,
Yes.
that might be the moment where they go, "Oh, we really shouldn't get rid of him because we shouldn't get rid of an actor of this caliber."
We'll
Yeah.
see. It is a lot that DC needs to figure out before they can.
They've figured out most of the problems already.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just hard for them to get the faith back
Yeah,
in fans after
right.
what Warner Brothers did to Justice League.
Yes.
And
I mean,
firing Zack-
they got back some of it with
Shazam,
Wonder Woman,
Wonder Woman,
Shazam,
and Aquaman.
and Aquaman.
they should not
This
have.
movie.
They should not have fired Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Zack Snyder
Zack Snyder, yeah.
should have stayed on because it, whether there's a cut or not, whatever,
Right.
everything he's shown is significantly more interesting than what we got.
You still see the influence in these movies.
Yes.
Like I think that I saw like some of it even in Birds of Prey.
Well, because
Sure.
her Harley
Yeah.
was made. David Ayer and Zack Snyder
Right.
sat down and
Yes.
created it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like detailed it, and it was his
Right.
idea to have
Yeah.
Margot Robbie.
Yes. So that's a whole, and the whole Zack Snyder thing, that's a whole other animal.
Well, that's not
Yeah.
Justice League and Batman versus Superman wasn't his fault.
No. I'm just saying the whole situation.
I know it's just
So,
that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I
I don't know.
I
I
think-
don't think there's too much more to say with. This
I
movie.
think one thing I didn't like
Yeah.
was that they instead of saying like the cop became the questioner or whatever, it almost looked like she. What's the name of the character who trains Black Canary?
Wildcat.
Wildcat. She was
Wildcat.
almost like a female Wildcat at the end of the movie. It almost felt like that.
Black
More-
Canary kind of has a similar fighting style as Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she was
because
trained by Wildcat.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
her
saying-
mom worked together with him. So.
Yeah. But like I'm saying, like she in this felt like a female Wildcat instead of like the questioner or whatever.
Interesting.
Sure.
But that's just my one
Fighting.
thing.
Yeah. They can maybe like kind of like mesh
Because
the
like
two together. I can
just
see
it was
that.
more like a
So.
brawler.
Yeah.
The brass knuckles.
Right. Them brass knucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Zaz was pretty cool.
Zaz was cool. I liked how they set up that it's like, oh, he's dead, but he could not.
He's
actually
not.
be-
He is not.
He's
dead.
totally not dead
He is
because I
not
was
dead.
talking to my friend at work.
So we're gonna
And-
play that Monster Reborn.
Yeah, that's to say that he wasn't dead already. He ever died because he was
Well,
like,
he's not Solomon Grundy.
yes, born on a Monday. But
Monday?
well, that's how you say it.
Monday.
That's how-
Whatever.
that's how-
Get to it, Dailey.
So he was like, I didn't like how they treated Zaz and whatnot. And I'm like, well, he's not dead.
Yeah.
And I went, what do you mean? He got shot in the neck. And I went, yeah. And then he got stabbed multiple times with a tranquilizer dart. And he went, oh, I didn't pick up on that. And she was like, yeah, no one else picked up on it because they thought that he died after getting stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
To
Shot
be
in the
fair,
neck.
I
He'll
don't,
have
know,
quite.
I don't know
he'll
how
have
much.
quite a good scars on him, but he's not dead.
I don't know how much.
He could
how
be a
good
villain
it
for
is
the Birds of Prey in the future.
I don't know how good it is to get consistently stabbed by a tranquilizer dart, but that's I don't know that much about
It's a comic
science,
book
so-
movie.
Yeah.
Sure, that too.
It's supposed to be unrealistic.
Right? No, I know. I'm just saying, like, it just getting tranked a bunch of times just probably is not good for you. I don't know.
Well, this was a used tranquilizer dart. So, like, the multiple stabs might be how
Sure.
you get
Yeah.
Sure, understandable. But I think that's all we gotta say with this movie.
Well,
Like I said-
my part for Ewan McGregor was just that they could have done something where he didn't clearly get exploded into pieces.
Again, he
And
should
then-
not have died. They could have used
Yeah.
so
Like
many
they
ways
could
for
have,
him.
like something like could have happened to his face, and when he fell in.
Yes.
No, there's body parts exploded.
Yes, I'm
Right.
saying like they could have said
They
it was
could have
like,
done,
oh,
like,
his
a
face,
burn.
and then it was a burn, and then
he puts the
he
and then he keeps
the skull mask on.
permanently.
Yeah, because
And
once he keeps it on, he never takes it off.
Yeah, because you can even say in the comics if he takes it off,
Well, in the
it looks like
there
how
are
it is.
some comics where he does like he does in the movie where he puts
Yeah.
it on and off.
And then there's
so.
some where that's literally his face, and you can say, oh well, it's both. He puts that on
Yes.
because it looks nicer.
right.
Yeah.
So and then what's the next DC movie that's coming out?
Wonder Woman 2,
Wonder Woman 84. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Saw
which
the
will be
trailer.
very good.
I saw the trailer. It looks interesting.
That's a trash can.
Trash. So, but I think that's gonna do
Yeah,
for this episode.
that's gonna do for this
We
episode.
did a lot of talking.
We did a lot of
A
talking.
couple different
We did.
things. Some wrestling, some baseball, a little football, a little comic books. Pretty much everything
Movies.
more or less everything that we pretty much covered generally.
Yep.
So it's gonna do it this week, guys. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
if
joining us.
liked
Thank you
this
for joining
episode,
us.
Give it a big old blue thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes.
Ring that bell.
Ring it.
Why
Go
don't you
into
ring my bell?
Go into that description and follow us on. Check out our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, so you guys can get a little more, keep up to date with what's going on. We're going to try to be a little bit better
Yep.
about using our social medias because right now we're not too good, but we're learning.
We'll
getting
learn.
there.
We'll learn it as we're going.
We're getting in places. So
Tell us in the description.
Yeah.
How you're feeling about
anything
how you
really
felt
that we
about
talked
anything
about
we
today.
talked about.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. Share it around.
Correct us if some of us got false information.
Which is highly possible.
Would not
because
be the
we're-
first time.
No. Highly
Then
probable.
then next week we're talking about cheese.
No. Absolutely not. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Join us again next week. And
Take care, guys.
Later.
See ya.